Hello everyone and welcome to another Modswell video. Today I'm going to be showing off the community built Dark Souls load order. I say Dark Souls, but really you can name this after a few games like Elden Ring, Bloodborne and of course Dark Souls. Myself and a host of viewers have put this together over the last few weeks and I'm finally done putting the order through its paces. When it comes to any of these games, we instantly think of the difficulty and how the combat should play out, and this order's no different. Over the time creating it, many different iterations of combat overhauls have been tried. The two setups that had the most on offer for me are going to have to be Moraloot, Know Your Enemy and Fatality. This setup is pretty hard to run, but in the end I opted for Not Your Father's Skyrim version 2. I did this purely out of a desire to bring everything up to be a touch more difficult. However, whilst my hubris knows no bounds, my ability to play Not Your Father's Skyrim on a consistent basis whilst making it look good, well, that's just not going to happen. So with that in mind, I did add on the Milk Drinker patch. This is my shame though, and you do not have to share in it. If you love the super hard mode, then just use NYFS and ignore that patch. Let's move on to look at animations, where I have been switching in and out of using dynamic combat. I'm a fan of the mod, but damn do I wish we had a few more buttons on the controller because I am sick of being arrested for trying to put my weapon away. How many vendors need to die before we see a hotkey change? If you have a level of self-control or can simply remember a basic instruction, then I would add this mod in. If you're a little bit more like me, then I promise you're just going to slaughter an entire town by what would have probably started as an accident and then escalated out of annoyance. You have been warned. Dynamic combat is, however, really fantastic fun, and the animations inbuilt actually quite suit this style of game. Talking of animations that suit, there are two options I would take for my base. Either BBC AO version 2, which I have been using in every video until last night, where I loaded up the Bethnet and I found Movement and Combat JH, which is also by Bracker. BBC AO uses the Elder Souls collection, and Bracker's new mod is running JH combat animations. I think these new animations actually work better when you open up to the idea of the game being based on multiple similar styled games. If you are deep into it being Dark Souls, then you're going to want to be a purist, and BBC AO or the newer Movement and Combat ESC will be the choice to go for. If you're using dynamic combat, however, then I would say the JH version suits their animations better. As per usual, I am running a bunch of animations in here with Leviathan two-handed high stance, so any two-handed weapon will be rested on the shoulder, like in Dark Souls. I'm also using Vanguard one-handed mid stance. The main reason I add these two into orders isn't just because they look cool though. For my playstyle, they perform a really important task of allowing me to track enemies more easily, almost acting like a lock-on mod, which no, unfortunately we don't have on Xbox. We do, however, have the ultimate dodge mod. I am using the Reborn version because with it I don't have to trigger the mod to work at the start of every playthrough. If you're using the older version, then I do have a video here showing how to get it working. I'm going to say this now, close your game after installing mods. Very often, complaints about mods pop up, and this is the simple solution needed. But for any other issue you have with this mod, then I suggest checking out my video on it. The final animation I think has to be part of this is going to be improved potion animations. This is just very in line with these style of games where you can see yourself drink a potion and you're kind of useless whilst doing it. I will be direct. This animation doesn't do it quite as well as those giant developers. Shocking, right? I purely say this because you can't move whilst using these potions. However, that also makes the game harder, and when coupled with Not Your Father's Skyrim, it just works. NYFS is going to have health come back over time with potions, and it actually lines up really well with this. If anyone ever works out how to get their feet moving with this mod, then they will have earned my undying love. Other than these, I also use a few mods purely for my immersion, like super fast animated looting. This isn't a necessary mod in any way, shape or form, and yet, you're not going to see me dropping it from my orders anytime soon. A mod that I really want to talk about in this order is enemy health indicators. I'm relatively sure that these were the reason this order got made in the first place, people seeing health bars and working out what could be possible. EHI recently got an update which gave enemies full health bars that go down when damaged. The superbly basic idea of an enemy health bar somehow got me excited. When the mod first came out, we got colour styled indicators, and those are still available to you in the options book, which you can find in your inventory. Other options include things that make enemies scale in size based on their level. Now personally, I don't advise using this setting, or you get some really funny sized people. At the start of the series I was fighting Minotaurs and the Forsworn. Quite a few people pointed out how short the Forsworn looked. Well, this mod was the reason why. But that setting is easy to disable and totally safe, so definitely play around with enemy health indicators. The place I had the biggest issue was choosing which quest mods I wanted to add in. I basically put together a list that I thought might work in this order, with Beyond Reach and Wyrmstooth having the most logical stories that would suit. Beyond Reach was just too large, and the compromises that I'd have to make to fit it in just weren't worth it to me. However, in your iteration of this order, it might be worthwhile. I build these orders to be edited by yourself into your ideal. As of right now, I'm using a bunch though, and left out my top 2 picks, which I found kind of funny, but I'm not too disappointed in the choices that you all made. The likes of Artifacts, Torments of the Ten Bloods, or Iceblade of the Monarch. There are a bunch more available, so check out the description to see the full load order. Weapons and armors were also quite a challenge to pick from. While some will be sat waiting for you in their new quests, I've also retextured all of the vanilla armors using Simply Realistic, which I think suits the style best. However, I've also thrown a bunch of standalones on top as well, mostly ones I found from Willow. This is because these work differently to standard Skyrim weapons and armors, with totally new upgrade systems, which is of course more fitting with how Dark Souls work. I've also been sure to pick out as many sets from the correct games as possible to make everything fit in right. I'm really happy with how everything has gone here. The choices made by everyone who took part have been fantastic. I'm definitely going to be more open to creating more community builds, and in that spirit, I've opened up a new channel on the Discord server, so be sure to come over and join in all the fun. Alright, so this is where I'm going to call it, but before I do I have a few questions and a request. First of all, would anyone be interested in seeing me mod games on PC here and there? Obviously, I will use games that aren't moddable on Xbox, which will remain my daily driver. What kind of games would you be interested in seeing, or alternatively, what kind of things would you like to see me do on the channel? Anyhow, I've left the load order sitting in the description of the video alongside a bunch of useful links to my Discord, Skyrim Xbox Mods subreddit, and a whole bunch more. Unfortunately, I made a mistake on my load order spreadsheet and left some pages open, and naturally chaos ensued. But that's my problem, and I will fix it as soon as possible. But I do work full time, so it could be a hot second before I can get around to it. That is going to do it for real this time though. If this video has been helpful, then I'd really appreciate those likes, comments, and of course subscriptions. They really help push my work out further with YouTube's algorithm, as does watching this far in. So if you're still here, come and tell me that you made it to the end. But either way, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.